What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of KozMatt's Wrestling Recap. With the Royal Rumble behind us, we had our first episode of Monday Night Raw since the Royal Rumble, and it certainly delivered. What did you think of the show, Matthew?
With Elimination Chamber, I'm gonna tell you right now, WrestleMania is gonna come quicker than we all realize. Royal Rumble is in our rearview mirror. What's up front? Elimination Chamber. Speaking of Elimination Chamber, we have to head towards that pay-per-view, and nonetheless, we had three Elimination Chamber qualifying matches tonight. All great matches, let alone great wrestling, especially all the competitors in that too. So the way Raw opened up was just awesome. Nice recap, capping the events of the pay-per-view on Saturday. A nice a nice heartfelt promo and a huge pop from the fans on Cody Rhodes. Great way to open up the show. Cody Rhodes just bringing in all the hot heat, talking about the ups and downs and how everything has just been worth it. Basically saying he is coming for Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns, there's nothing Roman can do because he's ready for a new champion. And you know what? I think we all are too.
Oh,
So
yeah,
after he
absolutely.
finished up the Judgment Day's music hit, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio. Um, I think the Judgment Day kind of killed the momentum. You know what I mean? It kind of killed the momentum with Cody Rhodes' heartfelt promo about going after Roman Reigns. But you know what? I see why they did it. I also set up for our main event. Um, with the Judgment Day killing that momentum, I think what actually helped, Edge came out and attacked everyone on the stage. Rhodes then joined the fight and took down Balor as the show went to a break. Later on, we figure out that's going to be Balor and Cody Rhodes for our main event. Awesome.
Yeah, dude, this was an excellent way to kick off Monday Night Raw. Cody Rhodes with his heartfelt promos, man, they're absolutely phenomenal. Really getting the crowd involved and saying that we're going to see a new champion at WrestleMania, saying he's taking on Roman Reigns, taking both those belts off him. So I'm ready for it, man. Here we
Yep.
go.
What I was ready for next, great segment of wrestling, great matchup between this was our Elimination Chamber qualifier, first match of the night, Seth Rollins versus Chad Gable. Wasn't really expecting anything crazy from this match, especially both men being in the Royal Rumble on Saturday. But you know what? We really got a good match out of these two counters back and forth until Gable found himself spiked with a pedigree, giving Rollins the win, leading him into the Elimination Chamber matchup. You know, even though Chad Gable didn't win this match, I really think Triple H has something up his sleeve for him because you know what, the way he's been treated in WWE as of late, he's been given some good spotlight lately, man. He really has been.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I think Triple H sees something like a building block for Chad Gable. He's
Mm.
slowly moving up his competition. And you know what? He just keeps on delivering. So you know what? Put him in those bigger opportunities like matches against Seth Rollins and keep building him up. Maybe put him in that United States Championship picture.
I think so too. I really do. And you know what? I think this Elimination Chambers matchup, I think it's unpredictable to be honest with you. It really is. And we'll get more towards our who the more so final members are as we go throughout the night. Um our next matchup, Mia Yim accompanying Candice LeRae to the ring for her matchup against, I think it was Io Sky, to kind of help even the odds against Bailey and Dakota Kai of Damage Control. Kind of shenanigans, didn't really expect much. Io Sky took the W over Candice LeRae. I'm happy Candice LeRae was given spotlight, but I think Damage Control needed this W.
Absolutely. You know what? Continue to build their stock up, make them that dominant force on Raw for the women's division that we all want to see. And you know what? It's great momentum heading into the Elimination Chamber.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into our second matchup of the night for the Elimination Chamber qualifier match, Rhea Ripley delivers a promo, basically choosing Charlotte Flair as her opponent for WrestleMania winning the women's 2023 Royal Rumble match. Let's talk about something quickly though. I thought we were gonna see her versus Bianca Belair. We were even teased that a month or so ago backstage, as both women kind of went face to face in the back. People aren't really happy about this, but you know what? I think if we're going to see Bianca Belair take on somebody, hopefully it's going to be Asuka.
Oh, absolutely. Her return at the Royal Rumble was absolutely electric. And you know what? I kind of get this move, Rhea Ripley taking on Charlotte. They do have some unfinished
Mm.
business going back to a few WrestleManias ago. So you know what? Either way, it's going to be a phenomenal match and definitely a headliner for the women's division.
Technicality for sure, and I think that's going to be a phenomenal matchup. Especially could be just could we see a new SmackDown Women's Champion? I think so. I think so. Now let's move to our second matchup of the Elimination Chamber qualifier match. It was Johnny Gargano taking on Baron Corbin, JBL in Baron Corbin's corner, and Dexter Lumis on Johnny Gargano's corner. This is a great match. You know what? I give hats off to both Johnny Gargano and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin really showed his worth, and I think this is something that he needed. Um, he's been strung along the past few weeks, if not months, on Raw, right? And this is something that really showed his worth, and it really got me back intrigued into Baron Corbin. Even though Johnny Gargano was able to pull off the victory by countering an end of days, he's headed towards Elimination Chamber match, so that's going to be cool. So a little help from Dexter Lumis scaring JBL at ringside with his hatchet, putting it right through JBL's hat right on the announcer's table. That was very cool. I was expecting a little something from the crazy man Loomis, okay? And that's what we certainly got. He had something up his sleeve, and that's what entertained me to end that segment. That nice hatchet right through the announcer's table onto JBL's hat. Poor JBL and poor Baron Corbin. So let's move next to the MVP Lounge for the first edition of the VIP Lounge, right, of 2023. Haven't seen this in quite some time, as he actually brings out Austin Theory as his guest. Just a plethora of booze as he was trying to speak. It honestly was awesome. It really was. Bobby Lashley eventually shows up, Theory able to avoid a spear, with MVP actually being pulled into the path of the spear. Certainly interesting. I really don't know what's going to happen with Bobby and MVP, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Absolutely. I think they're slowly building back up the Hurt business. I think we're going to see a payoff. And you know what? Bobby Lashley just continues to dominate, looking strong. And you know what? I think he's heading for that United States Championship.
Let's talk about who looked dominant next. Not the guy who is in the ring now, but the guy who ended up coming out afterwards. So Miz was actually in the ring, talking about basically how everybody's just being handed all these opportunities. Miz being the first Grand Slam champion in WWE. He's not even in the Elimination Chamber matchup. Just wasn't fair. All this stuff being eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Just a plethora of just booze from the crowd and
Miz and his shenanigans.
Him and his shenanigans. Basically, he just saying he could overpower anybody, all that stuff, until actually Adam Pearce comes out, says, Miz, I'm tired of all your BS. You know what? Right? After a long few months of hiatus, back from an injury, he says, you know what? This is going to be the newest member of the Raw roster, and this is somebody who is certainly picking at his brain, just like the Miz is. He basically saying both men want opportunities. And he said, you know what? This is the guy who I have in mind, and this is a guy who wants an opportunity just like you do as well. So you're going to face him. And Miz was in a suit. And guess who comes out? Rick Boogs.
I was waiting for that guitar, man. I was waiting for it, but I was so happy to see him back.
We have a match between Rick Boogs and the Miz for a good, maybe not even minute. Miz in a suit, nice military press, and a big slam for the big man Rick Boogs. Nice debut on Monday Night Raw for sure, huh?
The Boogs man is back, man, looking more dominant than ever, and I could see him doing big things on Monday Night Raw.
I could see it too. I really, really can. Now, before we get to our next matchup for the third matchup for the Elimination Chamber qualifier, Bailey was out cutting a promo about how she and Damage Control took out Becky Lynch last week. Becky Lynch basically came out saying she wants a cage match next week with Bailey. No more sissying out, blah, blah, blah. I think it was just cut short basically last week. That's why we didn't really see a full matchup of it. Actually bringing out Dakota Kai with a chair wrapped around her ankle, threatening to hit her with the chair until Bailey said, okay, you know what, I agree. Lynch told her to go check on Io Sky to end the segment, basically saying she is going for Io Sky, just like she just did to Dakota Kai. Honestly, it's something we certainly needed, especially with both women, kind of spice things up a little bit.
The return of Becky Badass, man. I love this, man. Becky looked absolutely incredible, looking like she was staring right through Bailey. And you know what? I'm excited for this match next week.
I'm too. Staring daggers, absolutely, dude. So we got a steel cage match next week. Hopefully, it's not going to be cut short. Hopefully, we're going to be able to actually see it. All right. I think that maybe it was because it got cut short, and maybe they were waiting on it. Maybe the timing was perfect. Not sure. So the third match for the Elimination Chamber qualifier, Dolph Ziggler and Bronson Reed fighting for that spot. Just a veteran of Dolph Ziggler. You know what? Even though I saw this was going to be a match, I already knew who the winner was going to be just because of who was in the match. Dolph Ziggler, right? Reed hit a splash from the turnbuckle to get the win. I think it's called Tsunami. Quicker than expected, but you know what? Made Reed look good by beating Dolph Ziggler so quickly. Dolph Ziggler is a workhorse. Bronson Reed is now in the Elimination Chamber match. Certainly interesting.
Yeah, dude, that tsunami coming down on you. Imagine he hits that off at the top of the Elimination Chamber.
You're
Dude,
never going to see it.
put someone through that, Matt, and he could be one of my favorites to win the Elimination Chamber for sure.
I think so too. Now, speaking of favorites, let's talk about our main event, Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes. A little bit of bragging rights. So started a little simple elbow tie up, right? Just what we would expect, right? From Cody Rhodes and Finn Balor. Finn Balor, he really wanted to put an end to Cody Rhodes' mouth from the beginning of the show. Came aggressive, then we went to our first break, come back. Balor actually really was taking some damage and actually reversed it, damaging the pec that Rhodes actually was out of action for several months. Judgment Day was actually ringside, laughing as Finn Balor stomps on, Cody Rhodes' chest. Great main event. Edge actually arrives through the crowd and began fighting Priest and Dominic Mysterio. Ripley actually jumped on the apron until Beth Phoenix arrived to take her down with a spear. Back in the ring, Cody Rhodes avoids a coup de grace from a distraction with everything going on, hitting Crossroads 3 times in a row for the win. Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Cody Rhodes that 1, 2, 3, man.
That was cool. That really was
Absolutely.
cool. So I think we're going to see a setup between Rhea Ripley. We're seeing that setup. We've been seeing it. Rhea Ripley and Beth Phoenix.
Absolutely.
Maybe that'll happen at Elimination Chamber. Not sure. Maybe they're going to wait till WrestleMania. But that's a wrap for Monday Night Raw.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, just a few things before we close out, man. This is officially KozMatt's year 4, man. We just celebrated 3 years of KozMatt. Time flies when you're having fun. And this was certainly a great show to kick off a year 4 at KozMatt for sure. I loved how they tied in the opening segment to the main event. Just absolutely fluid throughout the whole night. Let us know what you guys thought about the show. Always like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you Saturday for a SmackDown recap. Until then, peace out.
Peace out.